Hi, friends. How is everyone doing today? It's another beautiful, wonderful, clear sky, sunny day. Been getting really lucky with the weather lately. I don't know how long that streak's gonna last, though. Um, so today, today I wanted to talk about the voice of reason. So we live our lives in such a way these days, right, that we don't pay attention to the things that matter most of the time. Let's be real. It's just the way things are because of all these factors that affect everything. There is us, there is the way we see and perceive things, there is the outside world, which is basically a reflection of who we are, how we feel and think about ourselves. And then there's a myriad of so many other things. I could be talking about this forever here, but you get what I'm talking about. It's nothing new. Talked about this many, many times before. So, but there's this part of us that is a constant, that never goes away, that is always there no matter what. This is why I've said many times before that, you know, even though people may feel, and we all go through that, right? It's a normal human experience thing. Even though people feel that they are alone sometimes, or people may be feeling lonely because they live alone or whatever the circumstance is, they never stop to think or realize that they're never truly alone. So there's this part of us that is always there at all times, through the bad, through the good, no matter, it's always there. And this part of us is always trying to steer us in the right direction, to help us see things as they truly are, so we can finally take control of our lives back and do the things that matter, make the changes that are necessary to improve our lives and the environment around us, right? This presence, this energy, this part of us has many names. You can call it intuition, divine guidance, instinct, gut feeling, whatever. There are many names for it. But the reality of the situation is, the reason why I'm calling it the the voice of reason is because we know when something isn't quite right. We know when something isn't right where it is supposed to be, whether it is a situation, an experience that we're having, a relationship, a job that we're doing that is completely and absolutely unfulfilling. There are so many examples that I could give here, but that's not the point. You get the point. The point is that in almost every scenario as we're going through the motions and living our lives, instead of allowing things to just happen as they should, we try to second guess things. We try to, it's that old, you know, thing of way of being, of just not learning and not understanding to live in the now, just be in the now. Because we, like I said before in many other videos, we have this very strong tendency. It's almost like this indoctrinated idea. The ideologies, the things I've spoken about it so many times. You get it. If you're familiar with my videos, you know what I'm talking about. If not, go back in time and start watching some of that stuff, and you will understand. But what it is we don't usually listen to those nudges when we get them. They come in sometimes very subtly, very seldom, sometimes very evident, very in our face. And then they come in, and most of the time we just don't listen to it, right? There's a reason that you know that intuition, that feeling, that voice of reason is trying to tell you something, but you're not willing to listen to it. So all the issues that come from those moments, it's like I said before, I don't sugarcoat stuff here, guys. That's not my style. It's never going to be my style. It's just, we have to learn as human beings to face reality and stop putting the blame on all the things that go wrong in our lives outside of us. Because 9 times out of 10, you did it to yourself. 9 times out of 10, you did it to yourself. And in some circumstances, in some cases, it's 10 times out of 10 that you did it to yourself. So let that sink in and understand that the things that happen to us, most of the time, almost all of the time, they are of our own making. We did it to ourselves. But of course, that when things go wrong or whatever, instead of our ego to take that self accountability, it's not going to do that. It's going to go hide in a corner and then trying to find every single excuse and justification as to why things happen the way they did. If we learn how to live in the present, in the moment, in the now, to just be, right? Be present. You just are, just be. It's called going with the flow. Think of it this way. It's like water. I remember this clip of Bruce Lee that's been around for many, many years now, where he talks about water and how, we need to learn how to be like water. If you put water in a cup, the water becomes the cup, right? Because it takes the shape of that cup. If you put it in a container, it just sits still there in its own stillness, its own presence. Now remember, most of our bodies are made out of water. So if we actually learned how to be like water and behave that way more often, all the time, this is how you improve your life. We have this tendency to like always be swimming against the current, right? And then we wonder why things go, sideways sometimes. And we never blame ourselves. Let's be honest here. Remember how important honesty is, because I've spoken about this many, many times. One of the fastest ways for us to start learning how to live our lives is to apply honesty with ourselves on our own personal lives on a daily basis. You have to be honest with yourself. Ask the tough questions that people are not willing to ask, not willing to face. Am I happy doing what I'm doing here? Ask that question honestly. And what is the answer you come up with? Most of the time, people are not happy with the things that they are doing to themselves. But they never stop to ask themselves that question, do they? They just keep going along, living that way. And every time a problem, an issue happens, they start blaming on all kinds of things. But they never blame themselves. The human race as a whole, for the most part, forgot what it means to take accountability for our own actions, take responsibility. Men do it all the time, women do it all the time. We all do it. Some do more than others. Doesn't matter. What matters is that we all do these things. So, in order to improve the overall scenario, the situation, we have to start changing how we do things in that sense. We have to be honest with ourselves, be accountable for our own mistakes, learn the lesson, and move on. That's the other thing. Learn the lesson and move on. It's pointless to dwell on it, to look back at it, to start, you know, what if, all this stuff. Because, yeah, we love to do that stuff, don't we? What if, what if? No, look, things come and go in life. It's just part of life. And the other thing is, what is yours cannot be taken from you. What is yours cannot be stolen from you. What is yours is yours. If something is meant to be, it will be. Stop thinking about it. I don't know what's with people that, they have this tendency to like torture themselves psychologically and emotionally over and over and over again sometimes. There's got to be a limit to some of this stuff, Eventually, you gotta ask yourself, why am I doing this to myself? Right? Like, you gotta stop at some point. You gotta realize, because it's all the things that are happening. They're all of your own making. It's all based upon the decisions that you take. And then that decision is gonna ripple throughout the fabric of reality itself. And then those ripples will generate reactions to those decisions, consequences, whatever you want to call it. And this is what I mean by the voice of reason. The voice of reason is this part of you that intuitively knows. It's like this aspect of your soul that knows what's right for you. And it warns you all the time. You always get some sort of warning in one way or another, but we never listen to it. We need to start listening to our inner voice, that voice of reason. It's there for a reason. So, this is really all I wanted to talk about on this specific subject, my friends. Listen to that voice. You don't have to do it all the time, but start doing it. You will be glad you did. And then you can increase, you know, as it goes. Because trust me, you'll be glad you did. If you like the content, if it resonates with you, if it helps you in any way, feel free to like, share, subscribe. It helps the channel. And I thank you for that. I love you all. And I will see you all on the next one. Until next time, my friends, take care.